And welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Jim Wilburn, and today we have two special guests with us. We're going to talk first with Coach Cooper Henderson, who is athletic director, as well as the head football coach here in Artesia. And Coach Henderson, good to see you again.
You too, Jim.
And I know this has been a busy time for you, wearing both of your hats, your athletic director hats and your football hats. But right now, I would think the football takes a little bit of precedence because it takes just about all your working day to get things ready for them.
It does take a lot of time, but it's a fun time, a busy time of year, and I just try to always, when they go back to that deal, students first, whatever we need to take care of our students, and if some of it's NMA business or stuff that really isn't going to be dealing with our athletes at Artesia High or at our junior high or middle school, then we try to kind of postpone some of that. But I'm also very, very fortunate to have a secretary that probably could be called an assistant athletic director, because Diana Neal does a tremendous job of taking care of everything from the tickets to helping me get all the things that I need done every day, and very, very blessed with her help every day.
You know, I have never called over there and gotten her on the phone and asked her a question that it wasn't just the most pleasant sounding voice that you've ever heard. And I don't know if she's that way at home, but if she is, she's a very pleasant lady to live with. But she will go bend over backwards to help you out whatever question you might have.
She really does. And I've seen some situations where it'd be real easy to be unpleasant in our office at times, and I've never seen her anything but just how you said. And it is truly, like I said, a blessing to work around someone like that, because it makes every day a positive day for everyone involved. And we're real fortunate. Miss Russell comes in some during the fall to help a little bit, and it's another lady that is just positive all the time. So
you've known her any at all. She's one of the most sweetest girls in the world, ladies in the world.
You bet.
And Coach, tell us about your day as athletic director. I know you're not teaching anymore, are you?
Just athletic period in the weight period.
Weight period?
Yeah.
And so you spend most of your time in your office, and what is a typical day as an athletic director?
Well, again, because of doing both, we start our sophomore workouts at 6:30 on Monday, Tuesday. So we're here starting early, and then we get through the first period around 9 o'clock. I'm usually over to the office between 10 and try to be there between 10 and 1 most days, and some days it varies. But just like today, had to go to the junior high, deal with some things, and just back and forth. Tend to need to communicate with the high school administrators pretty regularly, so try to do that. And then, of course, this day and age, I'm one maybe like you that email is almost overwhelming. It seems like we get so much over the internet that every day, just trying to keep that narrowed down. But the NMA does all their communication through emails now also as well, and so been quite a few things coming up lately with all that we could talk about, but I'd probably rather talk about football. But they do have some issues they're voting on here in the next week that some of them are kind of interesting. Again, things like spring football, and our baseball people are really wanting to go to a 2 out of 3 on the first round, and just seeding in the playoffs. I mean, there are just a lot of little issues that they're talking about.
So your day is filled up with trying to balance that and your day with football also. Well, what time does actual varsity practice start for you, Coach?
We start at 2:45. Students get out of class at 2:30, and we have pretty well policy that we're going to be on the field by 2:45, and with our specialist, and then the other ones within 5 or 10 minutes. And Monday and Tuesday Monday definitely more of a teaching day and a longer practice, and Monday, Tuesday, both are our longer days. Wednesday, we do a lot different than some people. We make it to more of a team movement day. If you've seen them when leaving here, we tell them we're going to hit it running from the parking lot to the time we leave, and we want them to move. We really talk about movement on Wednesday. We want quick movement, and so they're out of here pretty quick on Wednesday. Coaches, of course, we're going to watch practice video, and actually Wednesday we try to sit down and actually evaluate the video and where we need to our last minute things before we get play on Friday. And Thursday's kind of a run through day, and of course we have sophomore games on Thursday, and then and our JV on Saturday. And by the way, both those groups we've been pleased with. They've been going well. Our JV that plays on Saturday, we just play about 5 games because it's juniors that aren't getting to play as much on varsity, and then some sophomores, and it seems like that's about the right length for them. And we finish up this Saturday at Carlsbad with them, and I think we're 3-1 right now, and that group's done a good job. Our sophomores have been playing well, and we've got several more games with them.
Well, speaking of playing well, the Artesia Bulldogs have played well this year. The record being 2-2, but in those 2 losses came to pretty well respected 5A programs around the state. And first, we talk about the Hobbs Eagles, and boy, they have really improved since Coach Dollar's gone over there.
They really have. I think they have a good offensive line up front, defensive line, people in the trenches that have been in the weight rooms. It was something that I think they've had athletes, but they haven't really had the strength in those positions. And have done a real good job, Coach Dollar has, with them. And it'll be interesting to see how that district all lines up between Carlsbad, Hobbs, and Clovis this year.
Well, Clovis seems to be a little bit down this year as far as record is concerned.
Sort of, but I wouldn't count them out. I think they're like us. I mean, I definitely feel we're sure just as excited as ever.
Sure.
Clovis probably isn't quite where they've been, but they'll probably get there, and they also are playing the toughest teams. When you look at the people that played El Dorado, La Cueva, this year Albuquerque really has some talented teams.
They do.
And I don't know, it'll be interesting to see when it all shakes out. They play Rio Rancho this week, so I kind of bet they get back on the winning roll.
You know, they lost to Cleveland this last week. And, you know, talking of that, Volcano Vista, a 4A team there in Albuquerque that nobody's really recognized, they played Manzano right down to the wire.
They did, and actually, Jim and Les, and everybody keeps saying that because they're listed on the internet, but they're a 5A team.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Oh, so they moved up.
Yes, they moved up this year, but I know even on the polls I've seen some votes, but someone may correct me, but I'm really real sure of myself. They were 4A last year. They remember Goddard beat them pretty soundly in the playoffs, and then they're in the district with Belen, and then
we
this
went
year
up and played them in basketball.
Right,
also.
and then they'll go to 5. They went to 5A. They're a big school, just like Albuquerque school.
Beautiful, big, nice new school up there. Very is. Well, Coach, back to our football team that we want to talk about the most here today, and I know a couple of losses, close losses to really good programs. Hobbs and then Manzano. Manzano still rated number 5 in the state, and they continue to produce. They're kind of like the Bulldogs. They don't ever rebuild. They just kind of reload. They had some different running backs last year, and they came right back with some good ones this year.
I think Coach Ocampo's done a really good job. That wouldn't have been a job that people would have gone in and said, hey, that's a great football school or place to be. And he has built a program, and I think they'll be competitive year in, year out with people. We definitely, I've enjoyed the fact this group this year is so competitive that I really feel like those games have been really good for us. Sometimes you worry about a team's confidence or where they are or whatever. I really don't with this group, and when you have one of those losses that just one play would have made the difference in the game, I can promise you those force you as a coach and as a player to go back. I can definitely tell you some things I would do different, and you think it through. And whereas, last week I didn't stay up thinking about what I could have called differently or kind of how we could have improved as much. Although, again, it's great to have a big win like last week. But those 2 close losses to good teams, I really feel like it made us a better ball club.
Well, one snap of the ball either way.
That's right.
You look at the 2 fumbles we had inside the 5 against Hobbs, a fumble inside the 20 in our last 3 possessions. All of those could have gone the Bulldogs' way, and we wouldn't have been worried about that.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been close. Right, that's correct.
But I made it mention on the radio. I said, well, Coach Henderson is a gambler. I know he doesn't gamble. I know that's against his beliefs. But I would hate to play poker with him because you're not afraid to tell your team you're good enough and we're going to go win this thing.
And that's what we'd do that over again. I would call a different play, or I would work it. I'd get it coached up a little better, no doubt. But that is what we'd want to do in that situation. And it really, like you said, everybody can look at the games. The next week against Manzano, we have 2, in my mind, perfect onside kicks, and don't recover either one of them. But we could take one more offensive play where we didn't score, or a defensive play, we pick up one more. So those games, it's hard to lose close games, but the other end of it, I think with this group, we're going to come out the better in the sense that we played really good competition.
Well, Coach, this is the big week.
It is a big week.
For the fans.
It is.
Maybe not, we don't set our sights on it as much as we used to since we're not in the same district, but for the fans, the Battle of Eddy County. This is what counts.
It is fun. It's, I think, one of those games. And I will back up, like you said, as a coach, I can tell you Goddard's what
Sure.
we're looking at,
Exactly.
where we're focusing down the line. But I think in our community and for the young men in Carlsbad, how many young people get to experience an atmosphere like an Artesia Carlsbad game? I think for everyone involved, it ends up being a positive, something they look back on and remember, and no doubt they look back on it with fonder memories when they win. So that's what we're working to do this week.
Well, I know Carlsbad's off to a pretty good start this year. They have lost a couple of games, but this was to Mayfield.
Just won to Mayfield at 3-1.
They're probably one of the top-ranked teams in the state, and they beat Alamogordo last week. So the Bulldogs have their work cut out for them, but it's nice to play at that Eddy County rivalry here in the Bulldog Bowl.
Looking forward to that this week. And Carlsbad does have a good team. They really throw and run well. Effectively, it's kind of interesting. Both teams have some things that we feel like this year we've run the ball and throw the ball pretty well. So it's kind of, they've been able to move it pretty effectively during the year. Defensively, they're a group that always wants to come after you, give you some good pressure, and so should be an exciting night.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming in and talking to us again, and we do appreciate your time. I know this is a precious time for you during the day and getting ready for the Carlsbad game this week, but good luck in that ball game. And then we make the trip down to Las Cruces.
Nope, they're here.
Oh, they're here.
Yeah,
That's right.
we get one more here, so we're getting to be at home there a while.
And then we have that open date, I believe.
Clovis and then the
Clovis and then the open date. Well, I'm going to have to do my research.
Yeah, we changed it. We switched up a little on you this year, but it's going to be an interesting few weeks.
Well, anyway, good luck to you, Coach, and we're behind the Bulldogs 100%, and we'll always be there cheering them on, and good luck to you in the rest of your games, and we'll talk to you throughout the season.
Thank you, Jim, and we sure appreciate all you do in coverage of the football team, but also, as I mentioned earlier, we're really enjoying all the things that you cover and the way you keep us up on our high school athletes and knowing what's happening.
Well, that is credited to Gene Dow. I just get to go talk. But
well, you do a good job of it.
We do appreciate him.
Tell Gene he's picking well.
Well, we'll be back, and hopefully we'll talk with the volleyball coach. We'll do that right after this.